Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Carissa P Wellness. I'm Carissa Pfeffer. This channel is where you can find all things midlife health and wellness, where you can really thrive through this transition in life through nutrition, movement, mindset, and all of the things. So, today I want to talk to you about what is perimenopause anyway, right? It's becoming a little bit more buzzy in the community, thankfully, because as a woman, we definitely deserve some talk and reform when it comes to women health issues. I want to debunk a little thing, and it really kind of came to my surprise when I started listening to more podcasts and getting really deep down the health and wellness rabbit hole. So I think I shared this in my intro video, but I'm going to share it again. I was out for a walk one day after I left my corporate job. I had way more time on my hands and I could finally listen to podcasts because up until then, I had never listened to a podcast before at the age of 41 years old. So I was out listening to this podcast. I always listen to Mel Robbins, and she had a doctor on, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, who was going to talk about menopause. And I was like, I'm too young for this. I don't need to listen to it. But I stayed and I listened. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks because she starts talking about a lot of these symptoms. And long story short, it was like, oh, okay, so I might be in perimenopause. I thought I was still just postpartum because I had my daughter later in life. I was an advanced maternal age pregnancy. I had my daughter at the age of 35, about to be 36. And for a really long time, obviously you go right into postpartum, but for a while I was like, when am I going to start feeling like myself again? Like when's that gonna come back? I've kind of felt off now for 6 years or so. Well, spoiler alert, I probably just went straight from postpartum into perimenopause. But I was really confused because, I always had the misconception that menopause is like stuff your grandma goes through, or maybe your mom, but like not not a 41-year-old. And also when I hear the word midlife, I don't think about it as 40s. I think about it as like way later, but the average life expectancy for people are in their 80s. So if you divide that by half, spoiler alert, 40s is midlife. And so I definitely had some like come to Jesus moments, right? But anyway, as I get down this perimenopause rabbit hole, I start to realize, okay, so the average age of menopause is 51. And let's just define a couple of things here because the terms get used interchangeably and they're really not. So, menopause is one date on the calendar, and that is the 12-month mark from your last period. It's like the happy anniversary to my last period. I haven't had a period in a year. That is menopause. It is one date in time. So everything leading up to that is your perimenopause. That's when you're going to experience all those symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, brain fog, all of those things. That comes before your menopause date. And so peri is the Greek word meaning before or around perimenopause, so just before menopause. Then once you've hit your menopause date, bye-bye periods, it's been nice knowing you, you're kind of then just post menopause. So a lot of people use them interchangeably. So when you think about 51 is the average age in which a woman will stop getting her period, i.e., her menopause date. That's just the average, which means you've got people on the lower end and people on the higher end. So if you look at that on like a 10-year average, some people are experiencing menopause at the age of 45. Others might be, later than the average at 55. So that's kind of your spread. Well, perimenopause, the symptoms you're experiencing can start anywhere from 4 to 10 years prior to menopause. So if you're on that lower scale, if you're reaching menopause, bye-bye periods at 45, you might have been experiencing symptoms anywhere from the age of 35 to 41 if you're in that 4 to 10 years gap. And then same thing, if you're getting menopause at 55, that might be anywhere from say 45 to 51. But that was shocking to me, like mind blown, because who thinks that menopause and perimenopause can happen in your 30s? I didn't. And I was in for a rude awakening. And so, what really happens with your perimenopause and why you're experiencing a lot of the symptoms that you might be? So, whether it be like weight gain, like hello, little lower belly pooch that you never had before, especially you hear a lot of women say, I'm eating the same and I'm working out exactly the same. Why am I gaining weight? Perimenopause. Potentially. It's not always the reason for your symptoms. But when you start to think about if you're in this age bracket, right, and you start to experience these symptoms, or I have never suffered with depression and now I have a lot of anxiety and I'm really depressed, or embarrassing symptoms like I just laughed too hard and I peed myself. And I'm not talking that I had a baby and that happens to me all the time. I'm talking about the new onset, like this hasn't happened before, or sex hurts, or my vagina is dry, right? There's a lot of these things that women, we don't want to talk about because it's embarrassing, but these things are true. Or all of a sudden you're starting to get UTIs left and right, and you never had a problem with that. Or brain fog. Brain fog is a huge one. I'm not joking. I was texting somebody the other day and I was typing poor, Poor, poor. And I sat there and I was typing, and the only thing that could come to my mind was poor, Pour. And I knew it wasn't right. And I looked at it and I was like, what, like, why can this word not come to me? And I know my 6-year-old could spell poor. So I was really frustrated. I put my phone down. And about 20 minutes later, I came back to the text because I remembered it. Poor. But that's the type of brain fog. And even like, where did I put my keys? Why did I walk into this room? Like simple tasks that you should know escape you from the brain fog. So there's a lot of those symptoms that happen in perimenopause. But those are the symptoms. What is happening is your hormones are going crazy. You're not going crazy. Your hormones are going crazy. And that's a pure distinction because a lot of women think that they're going crazy. Like they don't feel like themselves. And, 1 minute they're happy, 1 minute they're sad. They're on this emotional roller coaster. Hopefully you have a supportive spouse, but if you don't, maybe the people around you are like, you're going crazy. It's not you, it's your hormones. Because what happens is as you're going through perimenopause into menopause, your hormones are declining. Your estrogen and progesterone are declining. And they're not just declining nicely. They're not just like going down slowly, riding out. What's happening, especially with your estrogen, is your estrogen is really high one day, then it's really low another. That's really high, then it's really low. And so as you see these big peaks and valleys, it really affects your body. And the rise and fall erratically of your hormones and the fact that they're declining in general anyway, that's what's causing all of those symptoms. And so, unfortunately, the medical society likes to treat us for our symptoms, right? You've got weight gain, maybe it's just exercise more and eat healthier, or you're anxious and you've got onset depression. Well, here, just take this SSRI and it'll make you feel better. And then lo and behold, it doesn't because it's not solving for the root problem, which is that your hormones are declining. And then if you couple that with the stress that most of us have been experiencing for years, especially like post COVID, we're in this chronic state of that fight or flight stress mechanism that just exacerbates all of these symptoms. And then if you couple that with unhealthy lifestyle habits, then you're really just going down this spiral and this circling the drain and really not feeling like your best self. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to mitigate that. But at the end of the day, there isn't any magic that's going to solve the fact that your hormones are slowly declining. Even hormone replacement therapy, it adds some hormones back into your body to help you not feel that fluctuation. But no hormone replacement therapy is going to give you the hormone levels that you had when you were a teenager, when your hormones were at their peak. So hormone replacement therapy is a good solution so that your hormone levels are not so erratic. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not here to give you medical advice. I'm here to let you know that you have the ability to make an informed, educated decision on what you do and what you choose to do with managing your symptoms. So, menopause at the end of the day is not inevitable. If you were born with ovaries and a uterus, you are going to experience menopause at some point in your life. Could be early, could be late. So, menopause is not avoidable, but suffering is. We don't have to sit there and just survive menopause or, suck it up. It's just something our bodies go through. That's BS. And I encourage you to find the solutions that work for you to make you feel better. Because at the end of the day, you don't deserve to not feel like yourself. You don't deserve to feel like you're going crazy. Because remember, it's not you, it's your hormones. So I hope that gave you a little bit of education on what your body is going through potentially, or maybe you're not quite there yet, but to give you a little preparation for what it's about to go through. Because I know myself as a teenager, no one talked to me about my hormones. They just told me this is what happens when you get your period, this is what happens when you get pregnant, and menopause is just when your period ends. And so I think that we are ill prepared to enter our later years in life. And with a little education, we can be empowered then to advocate for our health to truly thrive through these transitionary years. And so if you liked this, give it a little like below and subscribe to this channel. Again, you can follow me on social media, on Instagram at Perimenopause Power, and check out the website. It is www.perimenopause-power.com for more. I hope to see you back here next time. Thank you all for joining.